So yesterday, me and my partner went to this class, and the first thing we started talking about was the Cancer new moon. If you don't know, Cancer is the first water sign. So naturally, we were discussing like how important water is and all that water represents and the power that water holds. We talked about how water holds memory. Water represents knowledge. Water is all throughout our home, throughout our planet, throughout our bodies, the fluids within our bodies, the blood, lymph. We started talking about pregnancy, of course, because Cancer, if you don't know, Cancer is connected to the mother. And when we started talking about pregnancy, of course, she mentioned amniotic fluid, how she read this study that like at 16 weeks, whatever is going on outside of the womb and whatever is going on with the mother can be felt by the child. And she mentioned this as an example to show us just how connected we are. And of course, when we started talking about this, we started talking about healing and stuff like that, and like how sometimes when healing it could feel so heavy because we're not just feeling our feelings, we're feeling our ancestors throughout our lines, because that's how like water connects us. Like being mindful of that. So after we talked about the study, we started to share what was going on around the time our mother was pregnant with us, right? How at the time our mothers was pregnant with us, how that energy stays with us throughout our life and how it shows up within our life. So that's what we started talking about. And I told a little about what was happening around the time my mother was pregnant with me. So when my mom was pregnant with me, she told me that she cried a lot. And I don't know if she knew, if she placed a word on it. She's never said the word grief, but now I know that like she was grieving a lot because when she was 9, she lost her mother. And throughout in my early childhood, I cried a lot. And I used to feel bad about it because I didn't know why I was crying. I felt like I didn't have a reason to cry. Like I would want to cry about every fucking thing. Sometimes it even annoyed her how sensitive I was, but it just made me realize like I know healing goes deep anyway, but just like how deep it can go. How deep it can go. It's so deep. Because even as I continue to do shadow work now and like go within my line and like see different things, I realized like it was grief wrapped up in anger. I spent a lot of time having a temper that I didn't know where it came from, because I felt like I was a person that saw the world as butterflies and rainbows. But there was still this underlying anger that I could never put my finger on until now, of course. And I realized that I wasn't just holding on to my anger, I was holding on to her anger, her mother's anger, her mother before that, her mother before that. And that's why sometimes it can feel so overwhelming, because it's not just about us. With all the resources available to us, with us having access to the types of tribes and communities that we would like to be a part of again, we have the ability to put names to things that our ancestors couldn't. Felt all of this and didn't know why either at a certain point. Because, for several reasons, systems emerging, the patriarchy, all types of reasons. But the point is, they didn't have access to what we have access to now. And just when we talk about healing, we just have to know that it's not just for us. That's all. And I invite you to, during this Cancer lunar cycle, to think about, or I guess reflect, or if you have access to your mother, ask her what was going on around the time that she was pregnant with you. How does this show up in your life? I promise you, you're going to learn a lot about yourself. You're going to learn a lot about your mother. You're going to learn a lot about your line, and then it's just going to help you learn a lot about the world and how connected we are. And that's all. That's all I want to share. See y'all later.